Hey everybody, this is Fat Infantry here with Fat Swing Plans and Observations. We are putting this one on YouTube tonight, and you can find me on YouTube as always. You can find me on Twitter, and of course you can find the Phat-plan on the Substack here. We got U.S. market summary, week ending September the 13th. We always start with that on a weekend like this. Sunday nights as we head into looking for low volume setups. We're holding around 60% for the year to date so far, doing pretty well. I mean, of course, there's others out there that got more than that, but we'll see how we finish up the year versus everybody. There's a lot of time left in the year. Major index performances, you can read that there. I won't make you go back through all those things, but I do think it is important to note that AI sector and some certain tech stocks in general are the top performers, along, of course, with gold and some of the precious metals plays. Microsoft and Tesla kind of finished out the week strong. Microsoft did pull back a little bit going into the end of the day. Some surprising moves. Amazon kept getting hit and pulled back a little bit. Let me grab a sip of wine. Pulled back a little bit. Apple, of course, off the phone news, kind of pulling back. Nobody was impressed again, as always, with their new phone stuff. So Friday ended up seeing weaker breadth as only a quarter of the S&P stocks closed higher. I think that's being overlooked a little bit off the hype from the AI move. All for it, all for Bitcoin as well. Those were pretty much the two major areas there at the end of the week, AI and Bitcoin, and of course precious metals holding in their firm as well. I think that is interesting that we're starting to see those select areas. What did not move, as you can see as we move through this, was, for example, the housing. I was in XLRE 3x long, ended up having to back out of it. Didn't lose any money, didn't make a lot of money, but those areas did not take off the way we were sort of expecting to see follow through. Now that could still happen, but we know sometimes the over anticipation of things, sort of sell the news event, can occur in those type of situations. So we'll see as we get through it. Outlook, though, the market is bracing for, of course, that Federal Reserve meeting on Wednesday. I won't bore you with that. I know you've been seeing that on Twitter all weekend and X and Discords and everywhere else, but XLC is putting in a massive amount of volume, and Meta is in a very nice upside reversal, low volume setup right now. So that is definitely an area of focus that we want to look into. And it actually was the only one. If you look across the board on the check and money flow, look right here how we finished the week stronger. Now look here, 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 and here. And here we actually went up, and here we went up. So what does that tell us? The two defensive sectors actually finished the week on increasing check and money flow, which is basically a measure of the strength of volume. It's just a simplistic way of looking at it. And so a lot of times you'll see accumulation volume when you go and look at the individual volume charts. So XLP and XLU actually showing some signs of accumulation, and price was working with XLU that last half of the week. So that is something to keep an eye on. We have two defensive sectors that are actually accumulating, as opposed to everybody else with the exception of XLC. So we'll see how that kind of plays out. You can also take a look at your equal weight, see if you're seeing similar type moves, if they're cooperating. So for example, in XLC or RSPC, the equal weight, it is not seeing the higher volume, but definitely, certainly, we are seeing the price move in those equal weight stocks right here. So that is something to keep an eye on as well, that we're seeing price move. Now we want to see that breadth, which is certainly strong and has been rising, again, compared to some of the other sectors. But we want to see, of course, put in a new high right there on the check and money flow. Index is starting to show some divergence. I think this is interesting of note. Again, doesn't mean you short it. It just means that we could be seeing a pullback. All moving averages, key moving averages are rising right now. All that is wonderfully healthy, but certainly we can't disacknowledge the divergences that are occurring amongst most of the indexes. So just something to keep an eye on, although I will say NASDAQ looking pretty healthy right there. But we certainly have, in transports, I actually am looking at a short. You can see we're putting in lower highs, and I think we'll start putting in lower lows. So I actually have one to look at on there. Again, staying away from the FOMC stuff. Deep view market themes. So market themes coming from deep view. Again, confirmation, Bitcoin, your precious metals, China hanging in there strong, so China could be looking to make a move here, so we want to keep our eyes out for any China stocks, and we do have one tonight in a low volume setup. Forgetting the name of it, kind of a Spotify Tennyson, kind of a Spotify type play out of China. Makes sense to me, and it's in a low volume setup as well. Key takeaways, again, we've already discussed all of that. Quantum with a nice move this week, so we'll look for low volume setups in Quantum. They actually moved up so far that they are number 6 on the Traders Lab theme sectors and submarkets. So that definitely is of interest to us. We just want to give them time to set back up. They will. They'll eventually pull back and set up, and then we'll look to play them. I did add in this week onto my larger watch list, or actually in a separate watch list. I'm considering moving Traders Lab into my overall scan list for low volume setups. And that's basically what you see here is these are stocks that are setting up pretty much in low volume setups, or they're about to set up in low volume setups. SWKS looks real good. It's on my broader watch list as well. Trip, same thing, was on the broader watch list. MP wasn't on there though, so that's why I'm a little curious. We may want to check out MP here. It's in a pretty good upside reversal, but it's not in the usual. I generally play it off a rising 10-20 cloud, and that's not where it's at right now. It's more of a 50-day moving average, 10-week pullback. Overall rotation, strong rotation in the resource sectors, meaning precious metals type stuff, commodities, and technology-driven niches. So again, semiconductors, quantum, auto as well maintains that number 1 spot. And NEO is another interesting one trying to set up, but it's not quite a setup for me, but looks really good. Market carpet for the week. I can't see how Meta doesn't join the rest of them. Amazon, for whatever reason, is struggling, but I could see Amazon joining as well. You're not going to have these kind of moves from the big boys and not see Amazon and Meta participate. That's unhealthy and also not natural. Netflix, I can understand its pullback right now, but Meta would be the one to me, with the AI plays moving and Meta trying to move into that territory and perhaps even in the robotics. That seems like that would be the one to pick right here, and it is in a beautiful low volume setup, along with the sector being the strongest sector right now and clearly trying to take over leadership actually of all the sectors. Market sentiment from Friday, nothing too bad there. In summary, market sentiment is mixed. Institutions are mostly positioned long, volatility is contained, and retail is skeptical. While that setup is common for swing trading environments, dips and quick reversals, heightened caution in the AAII may point to underappreciated rally potential if other confirmatory signals occur. And right now, I will say on the breadth from Friday, we haven't seen that in a while. I mean, that is very bearish. There's no doubt about it. On a day-to-day basis, that is very bearish. And, if we see, as we pointed out at the beginning, and this is why I do this every night, and I just roll through everything, it gives me a good standard to look for. We started seeing some movement from XLU and XLP here in terms of accumulation potential. I mean, it's not really there yet, but we are seeing some signs there. So just something to keep an eye on is all it is. Until we see them start to really move up on price and volume, won't really hold to that. 10-year, definitely bouncing off this former channel we've been tracking. A reclaim of that trend line would be something to watch. Most concerning chart to me as far as the psych charts goes, though, is the MMTW. Now, the S&P doesn't just follow breadth, so it's not like you can just short the market because the fat trigger has occurred. What the fat trigger means is that there is the potential for a dry up in terms of breadth. And I generally use it to watch my sizing. So unless it's up here in the red, and then you generally, when the red fat trigger occurs, you can look to short potentially. But that's not where we are. We're in no man's land right now. And so what that generally tells me is potential consolidation, which would not be unexpected in the S&P. And so what I'm watching for is my sizing on any new entries, and then of course moving stops up on old entries, and then waiting for it to settle out and then make a decision, and then I get heavy long again. Point is, right now I'm not looking to get heavy long, just looking to play long still and waiting on the dip buys. Dow Jones Industrial Transports on the weekly. I put this on here and you can look at it yourself. Go back and look at it. It is definitely a pretty strong trend that when we cross this 75% mark down, that you can pretty much trail the transports down. As you can see, it's pretty effective. Doesn't work every time like anything. This is the weekly. It's pretty effective. And so what we have here right now is transports on the chart. RSI dropping below 50. PPO starting to flip negative. You can see down there it has been for a little while on the histogram. So we got an inside bar on Monday. Very good likelihood, very good probabilities that if we get a close on volume below that mother bar right here, this main bar, that I will be short transports. I plan to look to do it by, according to Webull, they do have shares available to short on TPOR, which is the 3X transportation bull. So I can do the 3X and short it. They do not have an inverse, so I'll have to use TPOR and short it. Also, Dallas, DAL, bring that chart up. Delta, excuse me, I said Dallas. Got football on my mind, I suppose. Delta has an inside bar. You can see the 5-day has turned down, and pretty powerful move. I would use this inside bar itself because that would potentially be a second, so a move below that inside bar would be a second close below the 1020 cloud. Commonplace to look to short. You can just kind of look back through its history with two closes below the 20. So here's one, here's two. Obviously a gap down here, not the best look, or you could kind of argue this almost outside bearish candle. It wasn't. Two closes, no two closes. Looking for two closes, so we go back up here. There's one, there's two, and then you can see what happened there. So off these blue 1020 clouds, these rising 1020 clouds, we're looking for two closes below. Here's two closes here, and then you see right there, double inside bar breaks down right there. So that's, you get the idea, you get what we're looking for. And if you go back to where we are right now, we have an inside bar with one close below. So if we get that second close below the 1020 cloud, it's a simple short on DAL Delta or potentially TPOR. I will also say that United Airlines, no, not United Airlines, Boeing is the one. Boeing is sort of the go-to, right? That's the one that Lutnick said we're always going to take care of Boeing. So that sticks in my mind. And they've got 2 huge days of distribution. And there were some negative events surrounding that. Those are just really bad. And so a move here would be that first lower low after, an incredible run. So a beautiful run. That's a huge move for Boeing. 35% move coming out of that stage 2 move. And then here we are in stage 3. And this would potentially put us back down, going down for stage 4, and then back into stage 4 on the way down, and then stage 1 would be the basing, and then 2 break back out again. So right now, it's not looking good. You break this spot right here around 215, and you're putting in lower lows for the first time in a long time. So we'll see how that plays out. Again, I hadn't bought anything yet. Just pointing it out. SPY, looks bullish as heck, right? We are seeing some decrease in volume. That's of note. But again, if you're going to play off of breadth all the time, you're not going to have a very successful career, I can tell you that. But it is to note that is a divergence. And so if we see an increase in volume on the way down, that would be, not a good sign. So SPY chart with deep view, the market trend right now, we're still in cycle. We're green, green, green. All moving averages are moving up. Weekly rotation graph, relative rotation graph. The one, something concerning about that, the more we have in the leading quadrant, obviously the healthier the market is. So the fact that XLK is technically moving into weakening, we could actually be, and with Amazon kind of not doing great, if Amazon doesn't perform more, we could end up with nobody in the leading quadrant. And that is usually very bad, frankly, for the market. Other thing to keep an eye on is XLP right here and XLU right here to see if we see an increase in velocity headed towards the money angle. This is the money angle right there. And we don't have that yet. But savior could be also another option is that XLC right here, when they cross from lagging directly into leading through the weakening area, that is a very bullish sign. Every time I see XLC or any sector cross from lagging through weakening back to leading, very bullish. And so what you could have happen tomorrow is XLK hold or just take its dip into weakening, which is very common for that 102 level, just to dip in. And a lot of times counterclockwise turn. We see that a lot from XLK, frankly. XLC could cross into leading. XLY could cross into leading. We could have all three growth sectors in the leading leading quadrant tomorrow. So definitely something to watch for. Or tomorrow we could see XLU and XLP start to really push up on price towards that improving quadrant. So that will be something to watch play out and see what direction we're kind of going into the FOMC. Remember, of course, we could expect some chop heading into FOMC as well. Key ratios from Friday. They were red, no doubt about it. They favored defensive sectors, and so right now, if I was looking at this chart, I would say that the favor is for XLP, potential XRE, and XLU to move up. However, I will say again, in the lagging quadrant, they tend to fail more times than not. And this level right here, this is generally, I treat it like a 50-day moving average, pretty tough area to get through. So we'll see how that works tomorrow. Conclusions, before we look at further at the S&P 500, let's look at the offensive versus defensive chart. And versus the defensive chart, I will tell you that is beautiful. We are at a key level though. So again, a little bit of pullback, maybe come back and test this trend line again. Wouldn't be unexpected in my opinion. And same thing goes over here for the equal weight. I mean, it is beautiful though. Looking really good, really pushing out versus XLP. If that were to change and we put in what you would look for, sort of a character change, would be to put in a lower low. So we would have to break this level right here before there would be a potential character change. And then of course that trend line would be where worry signs maybe would come into play. Growth versus SPY. I mean, what a nice pullback. I mean, that is beautiful turn back up by XLK. And then we have XLC just clearly taking on the leadership. See how strong it is from a relative strength standpoint, XLK versus SPY. And I mean, XLC versus SPY. I mean, that is just beautiful right there. Look at it versus discretionary and versus technology. I mean, that is a great move right there. Looking really strong, which is why I'm so excited about Meta for tomorrow. Almost want a little gap down, a little flat opening to really take advantage of Meta tomorrow. I think it could be its time. Value, so XLI, not looking good, frankly, and neither is financials, and neither is the materials, and neither is energy. What I will say is looking good is it's SoFi. It's holding up. It's relative strength versus the market, and also CRE regional banks are in a low volume pullback. So we've got a lot going on there. ARC-F also holding up well. So we'll see. Really got my eyes on SoFi as far as the banking goes. Could potentially go with I forget the name of it, but CRE has a 2x bull that you can enter as well. I believe it's DPST is an option as well. Defensive versus SPY. So on the defensive versus SPY, we have XLU, had the strongest week of the three, but again, all three of them look weak. We haven't even put in a higher high yet or a recent higher high. We'd have to get through this level right here, and that has not occurred yet on XLU. And again, we're up right around 60%, and transparency is important. I always like to say they don't post theirs because they can't. You can come to Stock Talk Insiders Discord and you can get 10% off, type in code FAT, all that good stuff. Let's move on. To our relative rotation graph. As soon as I get it up. Had a little computer trouble tonight, some little technical stuff. So I'm on the other screen right now just so you can't see my login. All right, let me bring over the relative rotation graph, and now we're going to check, I call them the Moglen ETFs. So Richard Moglen pointed these out, I guess, years ago now on a couple years back on Twitter, and I may have added a few, changed out a few, whatever, but basically we check these guys and see who is looking good. And MSOS, had a nice run, but it's been rolling over of late. ARCW, no. And so if what we're looking for is we want to see an increase in velocity, I'll show you when we get to one, but this one, so ARC K is turning back counterclockwise. That's generally a strong move. Q, no. So IDNA is close, but it's not expanding in velocity. We'll see when we get there. None of these actually are doing XBI. So XBI is biotech. Decent move, probably a good opportunity to find some dip buys in XBI. Maybe we'll look at Labu. RRG, no. Where's RKF? I thought it was doing, it's coming in for a little dip buy. So you don't want to see long velocity, by the way, expanding velocity into the weekend. You want to see it doing what it's doing right there. And that is more of a dip buy. So you want to see a counterclockwise turn right here play out on RKF. So financials, not sure, We got the FOMC news. Could be the buy of the week. We'll see how it plays out. We're just going to let the technicals play themselves there. Moglen technology. Let's see what we got here. So ONLN, this is a good one just to show anybody new. Right there. So see how we have the expanding velocity. So here's the nodes, and then let me turn the arrow mode on. So this arrow is pointed right at this top right corner. That's the money angle. That's 45 degrees. We call that the money angle. And you want to see it increasing in velocity like this. So from week to week, watch right here. Here to here. See the distance right there? And then here to here. See how it expands? And that's what we want to see. Increasing velocity towards that money angle. And it's now done it 2 weeks in a row. We see this all the time on here. So ONLN, that's retail, right? Online retail, giving us an opportunity. It's saying, I want to go. It wants to push. And so again, Amazon, and of course you can play Amazon through the bull plays and 2X and 3X. You can try like that. That's how I generally have gone to play in something like Amazon. So let's check through these. SMH coming in for a dip buy. ONLN, again, looking, that's the best one we've seen so far. 50, so Innovator IBD 50s, that's very aggressive for growth stocks when that one's doing well, and it is. Looks good. iBuy looking good, so again, online retail. So right now the best looking play is online retail, without a doubt. Without a doubt right now what we've seen from so far looking through the bios, healthcare, internet, artificial intelligence, robotics, automation, and technology. Let's check our commodities. Look at silver. Beautiful turn back on silver. Looking good. Gold, looks like we've still got a long way to go. And so if you notice, like people on FinTwit, and they're talking about charts and how gold still has plenty of expansion, that's why. I mean, look at it. Look at GDX. It still hasn't crossed into the leading group. So we got some potential there. Energy, had a little turn back right there. Keep an eye on it. I'm long WTI right now. OIH has been the early leader with the oil services. Definitely something to keep an eye on if we do see renewed strength. Let's check on WTI because I am long USO. Yeah, we'll move up tonight. Yeah, 5-day turning up. We'll take that. Let's check on Bitcoin. Take a little pause here while I grab a sip of wine. So I will tell you this. Let's talk about inside bars. The most powerful inside bar play off these, especially off these coils, is a flush. And so we could be seeing a flush down through this low. We won't know, obviously, until later. So it's not the easiest play in the world. But the most powerful ones are the ones that flush and then recover. So you have to trigger the inside bar. So we have a double inside day. You can say, well, Phat, it's the weekend. No, it all look back at all of it. When you have a double inside day like that, a close on volume below that double inside day, and of course below this main bar, would be bad for the longer term trend. That's just the facts. But a flush, if it pushes down and it flushes things out and then say closes with a hammer bar, well then that's of course very aggressive. And what the most powerful inside bar play is actually a flush that then recovers, which people call those a lot of different things, undercut and reclaim, that sort of thing. From false moves come fast moves, that kind of thing. So all that is in that same genre. So just keep your eyes on that. And that's why you want to get entry down here, right? So that then you can ride this out. So you sell some into strength and you are able to sit there and let it make its decisions because you are confident you have now set your stop loss, say below this candle or below this mean reversion candle, below the 50-day moving average, and you're willing to give up those leftover profits because you've taken some on the way up, and then we're getting in a little bit off track, but you get the point. That so if you bought in here Thursday and Friday, you're in a bind right now. You're losing on the trade, and so you're nervous and you're over leveraged. That's the difference, and that's why I like low volume pullbacks, which would have been here. Here's a 3-bar break. So through that high of the day on intraday volume, stop is somewhere down here, and then you ride it up and you're more comfortable. All right, so let's get back on track here. Did financials, here we go. So CRE's not seeing it too good right there. So ITB got potential to roll over there. XHB, PAVE. So again, so far online retail, best we're seeing right there. CRE not looking good. So right now I'm leaning a little bearish on the financials. Don't see it right there. You know, there's still, what I will say when I say leaning a little bearish, a little more of a dip, all right? Because this is still in the leading quadrant, so it's still strong on the regional banks, both of them right here. But it's turned away from the money angle. There's no doubt about it. Now, if we see increase in velocity this week, that's real bad. Obviously. Consumer discretionary. So blockchain coming in for a little dip buy. TAN, I really like the way it's the best looking ETF in a low volume setup right now. You know, we're over there past 106. I mean, that's over here. Look at the relative strength. I mean, it's pretty strong. We'll see how it holds up. So Jets, that gives me pause on the transports because it is in the leading quadrant still. XRT, no. XLY, you know, we're just not seeing that explosion, but frankly, we're crossing into the leading quadrant. And that usually, so again, Amazon tomorrow, can be looking for some kind of a dip and recovery on Amazon, and I'll play it with a 2x or 3x. XLC, same thing with Meta. I'll play it with a 2x or 3x. You know, we're a little extended on the indexes right now, so I don't know how long I'll be hanging on to them. Be taking profits and trying to let it ride, but I'll play it with the 2x or 3x on both of those. All right, and then, oh, that's it. All right, so let's move that back over here. All right, let's go to, where is my deep view? All right, let me bring it back up. All right, we'll go ahead and go straight into our, because normally we go through these nightly reviews, but we've already done that with the Phat-plan, so we'll tell you, let's look at the daily heat map of the deep view leaders. I always like to look at this one. So, and you just want to check and see, and of course, probably, WBD's moving up, CENX, Century Aluminum, so that is a beautiful move. I want to say AA. There's another aluminum, yeah, Alcoa. I think that's aluminum as well. Oh, look, it's moving up too. BTDR, beautiful move. Neg. Ooh. Okay, so this one's kind of a meme theme, and it's got some stuff with the owner and all that stuff, whatever. But man, let's bring that chart up. Neg. Oh yeah, we got accumulation volume, boys. Move through the high of the day, puts it through the 50. Coming off a relative measured volatility. Okay. That was the only other one I wanted to look at because GLW taking off. So they're all too extended, but neg. Okay, let's go to our watch list. Actually, let's go here to the dashboard. And let's go to market trend. Let's go to neg. Let me grab a sip of wine on this one. Man. Boy, that thing. I like it. How much did it move? What are you doing? How much did it move on? 16% move. Good Lord. Okay. Got a little bit of a glitch here. There we go. Man, I think what RMV was down under 5. Gosh, dog it. Just gonna keep eyes on it right there. All right, let's get to it. So Jeff's son, we're gonna start tracking this one, maybe adding it to the larger watch list of scans. We're gonna flip through a couple of these tonight, just these couple that are up here up top. Find which one. So Affirm's already on my list. Mara, easily could be one to go right there. No, it's such a laggard on the rest of them, so why would you, not really seeing it going. So if the nuclears move, we got SMR with pretty tight RMV. It's definitely in a mini coil right here. You can see the inside bar and it's coiling up right here. Coiling up, got some accumulation volume down in there. So through that high of the day on intraday volume, we got a decline in 50, so it's not like my, my top watch. Soon, yeah, we've got that on the other list. A-Lab, too high. IoT, yep, we've got that on the other list as well. ASTS, don't have it on the other list, I don't believe so. That's just not my play, not for me. And then Irene, and then Reddit starting to get extended, so stay off of that. And then 9, 15, Traders Lab. So thinking about adding these onto the larger scan list. Let's check and see. So Neo, I don't think I had on mine, so I'm gonna write that one down. And that's why I may be adding this one to the regular scan list, because I like it because of the auto parts, right? So as we go back, and this is why we do this every night, the auto parts were number 1. Auto sector area, cars, CARZ is number 1, ETF. XPEV, so China play, automobile again, 2 automobile plays, both China related. Setting up, I like that a lot. What I really like here is neither one are actually, hate that. Neither, for me, for my style, neither one of those are set up. BG, no. NEE, solar play, I like seeing that. We're long SHLS right now. Trip looks good. That's on my other list. UEC, so UEC with a low volume pullback, so uranium play. If we can't get in UUU, then I would like to be in UEC. So either one, right? They're both low volume setups. RMV is not very tight on this one. UEC is not very tight on this one either. But we do have them setting up again. You can see that is on both of them. MP, so kind of related to those type of military metals. I like this one a lot more. So inside bar off the 50. This is a classic move to the 50 EMA. After a huge move up. I mean, how far did this thing go? 200% move. So after a 200% move, we've now pulled back to the first touch of the 50 EMA. And we have an inside bar set up and decent relative measured volatility. So MP absolutely going on the list. BTU, and I'm going to put Neo and XPEV. If we get a dip in the morning, that may potentially be a buy. It's a little bit out of my style, but see them both setting up like that, and the car sector and ETF and Tesla doing so well, which, I know it's got other parts to it than that, but BTU, a little bit extended for me still. ADBE, Adobe, I'm going to hold off on that. So that's just not my style at all. So these 3 guys right here, we'll keep them. All right, and then now we'll go to our Phat Nightly Richard Moglen ETF list. And this is what I want to show you on tan. That's the best looking one. And we're long SHLS, which is the picks and shovels play for solars. For me, it's kind of like the Invita of the semiconductors. It's the SHLS is the Invita of the solars for me. SMH extended, ARC F, this is what I was showing you. So it's tight, man. It looks better than it did on the relative rotation graph. We got a nice level right there. Right there to clear on intraday volume. We've got a double, oh, that's why I liked it. We've got a double inside bar right here. Double inside bar on ARC F. Like it a lot. So ARC F and tan, both going on there. And then drive. Inside bar, low volume pullback as well. So nothing wrong with that. It's just a little bit extended for me. RRG, a little extended. Gold, extended. Cloud, double inside day. But for me, I find these mini coils, they tend to come down and dip off that 10 on that first breakout. I like to see them nice and tight to that 10-20 cloud. So that's more of a pullback buy. Dip buy waiting to happen. IHI, and then now they're getting a little too much for me. Regional banks, very tight, very tight, very tight. That is nice little coil right here. RMV 0. So again, SoFi for me, or DPST coming through there. Better write that down. DPST, SoFi. That's where I'm at with those guys. Looking good there. Oh, I got it written down. And XPEV. All right. Let's see. So that's it. The two best looking ETFs: ARKF, TAN, and IAT, which is of course CRE. Let's check uranium. Yeah. So uranium, those uranium plays, UEC we were looking at. Better add that on there. And then UEC and UUU, we're going to add those on as well. So those guys, we're going to add comma. All right, let's get it all together here. Right, and then we said UEC, UUU, who else? SoFi, CRE, and IAT. I'm just going to leave it CRE, and then DPST. I just like to put them on there as I'm going so that I don't DPST, add comma. You can see what I'm doing there. I'm just keeping them on the list for me right there. All right, let's go ahead and check our Phat Nightly 1020 cloud. Let's see what we got. Not a whole lot tonight, but I think I was looking at them earlier. Most of them were really good. So Tigo, beautiful volume. Look at the doggone triple-digit earnings. I mean, you can't pass an opportunity like that up, right? Favorite looking one right now. Best looking one. As far as the movement on it, it's decent, but I mean, this thing busts loose. It's going to move real good. Affirm, going along with the banking related, so there was some negative news on the Affirm type stuff. Pull back. It's now held that 20 EMA. It's so many times it's had some negative news that it's fought through. Futu, that's a Stock Talk Weekly holding that he talks about all the time. Looking good right here, nice and tight. Relative measured volatility down to 2. MNSO, I like it. Looking good. So again, almost all of these look good. TRIP looks good. IBP, so home building, looks good, and we may be seeing some separation where it may be better to go this route than with the bull 2 and 3X, because it may be more of a longer term hold at this time. And so maybe we need to look hard at IBP for IBP tomorrow. How was its earnings? Yeah, nothing special, but nothing bad. Levi, so discretionary. Yeah, put it on there. Internet services from Shop. So this could be Shop's time. I mean, had good, strong earnings. This could be the pullback for Shop. Communications here. No. OUST. Yeah, I mean, it's OUST, so we want to keep it on there. Gives us a semiconductor infrastructure type play, right? TME, there's your China. That's the China one that I was talking about earlier. And PRM, diversified metals. My goodness, that's pretty. My God, look at that. Double inside bar, low volume pullback off the 10. Look at the low volume. Look at the huge accumulation. Look at that's those X's. Those are ants. David Ryan ants. My God. And then Vital. I don't know what's up with the chicken farm is back. It's interesting. I'm gonna hold off on that one. You know what? If we see a push into the XLP, then I'll look to get there. CELH, yeah, double inside bar after huge accumulation, beautiful gap up, pulls back. Yeah, look how many of those are perfect setups. I mean, that doesn't happen very often. So we'll add these guys. All right, and then now let's check our Stock Talk Insiders plays here. So again, like I tell everybody, you got to join the Discord and you got to look through their due diligence. These could be from 3 months ago and not even be relevant anymore. So you have to go in and check your own due diligence. I collect them and I track them, and I just note for you when we're in a low volume pullback. It's up to you to decide if that due diligence is still relevant and if it's still actionable. DFH, so Dreamfinder's Home, looks good, but I like IBP better. OUST, we already talked about Meta. So Meta, again, I love this one. Beautiful low volume pullback. LAC, if we're going to see the uranium move, then I think a good chance we see the lithium move. You can see the accumulation volume. It's been dwindling a little bit, but still it's a low volume pullback. It's zero relative measured volatility, sort of VCP-ish looking. VEEV, same thing, low volume pullback. It's a healthcare play, and we've been seeing a good movement in healthcare, so I'm going to keep that one. Laser, beautiful low volume. Look at the low volume pullback. Price is not dropping one bit, just holding like a rock. I think HII is doing the same thing. SOUN, yeah, putting it on the list. OKTA, no. You can get a little picky now because we've got so many tonight. We'll still cull them a little bit. So run, again, I'm long SHLS, but I like seeing that. Nice low volume pullback off a huge volume. But I'm going to hold with SHLS on that. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to hold my conviction. CVX, oil play. I'm long oil already. AVAV, these guys are falling off. So let me stop it there. Add these guys. You know, and I'm doing a little double work right here, I know, but sometimes you just get in a routine, and it's just kind of how you do. Comma. And then something I've really gotten into with this perplexity. So, like, I like to take these guys right here, and sometimes I just like to clean it up a little bit and get off the track. And then I just tell it, I'll grab a sip of wine. Tell it chart. And by theme. It just rolls through it. Seems like every time I try to show it on here, it'll mess up. And normally I get it. It puts it in a chart, and of course tonight it's not. Oh, there we go. It's just that good. Let's put them all together. So tech, fintech, consumer retail, materials, China EV, media, building construction, regional banks, ETFs. And so what I like to see is, where are we setting up at? So here, tech, fintech, AI, consumer retail, materials. And so where are our setups? Where are we kind of seeing things? Normally it does a better job of breaking it down by theme. May not fit these primary swing trading opportunities for in-depth sub-theme cluster. Further filter could be applied as needed. So let's do that. Because I like to see it, but it'll break it down for me like AI infrastructure. And the reason why I do that is because on TradingView and whatnot, it'll just break it down by sector, and it won't be quite as specific as to what we're looking for. There we go. So fintech, crypto, digital brokerage, financial innovation. So you get the point on these ETFs that it broke down. AI hardware. There we go. AI hardware and infrastructure. OUST and laser. So it kind of breaks it down for you a little bit better. And it's not always perfect like laser, I mean, with AI. But you get the idea. All right, let's go ahead and look at it over here on these guys now. Let me copy and paste them. Break them down a little bit more and be done. Not 25, 15 setups. Grab a sip of wine, we're waiting. That neg, that was interesting. All right, so the ETFs I'm not looking necessarily to play. I'll play the 2X and 3X, and they help me track for the individual stocks that I'm watching. So Tigo, looking good. We're going to look at it in half here. Oh yeah, let's go WTI. Yes, sir. 5-day turn it up. Like it. Check Bitcoin. I love when Bitcoin runs. I'm not a big fan of playing it a lot. We'll see. Could be the flush. You know, and it won't even be a flush until it gets through this blue line. So see right here, mini coil line. So it's got to come down through this area right here, flush, and then reclaim it. If we reclaim that spot right there, that's where you dip by, or you could dip by. I'm not saying to. All right, let's check here. Tigo, let's check our 5-day. Oh yes, Tigo is number one. That one looks hot. That's beautiful. That right there. Look at the ants, David Ryan. I mean, there's a shit ton of good right here. Look at that, highest volume ever. Just look at the volume. Look how pretty it is. And then now you so fat, your relative, your RRG, your relative rotation histogram is going down. That's fine. This is just like right here. You look for the upside reversal in here. We didn't get one here, so I can't point one out to you. But you right here, same thing. You know, I want it to come down and press into this earnings VWAP, press right below it, and put in a hammer bar upside reversal on low volume right here tomorrow. That'd be wonderful, and that'd be your buy through the high of the day. Affirm, like I noted earlier. I mean, it just, you know, why you keeping it on there? You know what? It's 3 within 10. That violates my rules. I'm getting to where I don't mind. I'll keep my rules. You know, we still got SoFi to watch. Futu, and that's a sign as well. The fact that one that I thought was looking good, when you really look at it, it's got 3 days of distribution volume. So XLF, you know, KRE, XLF, large banks not doing good at all. Got distribution volume, no accumulation volume in here. Coming off this outside bear candle, it's just consolidating right here for a move, losing momentum for a move further down right now. I mean, it's been disappointing the whole time. We'll see. Futu. Got a little distribution here, but not too bad. You know, buy it through the high of the day type move. If not, let it go. Just beautiful, massive accumulation behind it, though. So it stays on the list. 5 days flat. MNSO. I don't like them too far below that 5 day. I'm going to take it off. And we got to get a little picky, right? We've got a long list tonight. Trip. Nothing wrong with Trip. Got nice accumulation. 5 day down here is rising. Earnings VWAP move right off of that. That's a strong move right there. Rising 5 day. Look at that rising 5 day coming through that 1020 rising cloud and rising earnings VWAP. Yeah, that's strong. IBP. Man, I don't like it. Damn. Taking it off. I'm gonna add nail. I thought IBP was the way to go, but I mean that distribution in there, relative measured. I mean relative rotations going down. I'm gonna add nail on. We'll track it with IBT. And nail. Add XLRE on as well. And I forget the 2X, 3X, but we'll add that on later. All right, Futu Levi. Ooh, nice upside reversal. Good classic volume. That's a classic handle. Nothing wrong with that at all. Yeah, 5-day starting to flatten right there. Yep, we'll keep that one on there. You know, slower mover, but very healthy looking. Nope, taking shop off. See the relative rotation histogram? Not going to happen. OUST there. Good accumulation, nothing wrong with it. Went through the volume dry up period, slowly moving up, upside reversal bar, 5-day turned up. Yeah. You know, underneath the rising ERVWAP, but worth it for the theme, right? The infrastructure theme, AI infrastructure. TME, China play. It's the only one showing tonight. We do have the histogram turning down a little bit. Don't like that, but double upside reversal bars for me cancels that. Healthy volume. Yep. PRM, that's the one that's so hot. I mean, that thing, look at the ants on it. We didn't even, I mean, that's, god damn, that's good looking play. I mean, look at that coil right off the 10. That's what I like to see. Right there. Right off the 10, off the breakout. What the hell does this thing do? PRM, let's find out. The hell? Firefighting company? Foam? What the hell is it going up so much for? Historic 5-year agreement with USDA to enhance wildfire response. Fire safety. Focus on fire suppression. I mean, that sumbitch can move too. All right, I'm keeping it on there. Let's do some fire safety. Vital, we're gonna take it off. CELH, we're gonna take it off. Relative histogram going down. MP, going down. We're going to take it off. Neo, we're going to keep it on there in case we see a little market dip by, because it's the strongest with cars, strongest ETF. XPEV, we're going to leave Neo and take XPEV off. It's got the negative rotation going. Again, we're kind of thinning the list out a little bit. ARC-F. I mean, that's beautiful. We're going to leave it on there to track it, but I mean, that's bullish. Look at it down there. Now, we're getting a little bit, the relative rotation histogram is starting to turn towards 0, so if you see it right there, it's working its way. We're going to leave it on there just so I can track it, kind of help me make some decisions on SoFi. TAN, coming in for a nice low volume pullback. So I like this one. I mean, again, we're getting nice relative rotation histogram. We've got so that's momentum and relative strength looking good. A little bit of distribution in there. Not going to make it easy for you. IAT, so banks, ETF, so we got heavy volume. I mean, that's looking pretty good right there. Make sure I got SoFi on there. I didn't see it on the list just now. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So IAT, regional banks, relative strength taking a little dip. CRE, you know, there it is again with the relative strength. Some distribution in there. Uranium, that's a low volume dry up. It's looking good. UEC, it's looking good. UUU, looking good. That's just a 10. So UUU is just a classic pullback to the 10 EMA. I mean, it's just riding that 10. And here it comes in right there, riding that 10. Look at 5-day. And you just watch it. If it turns red, starts coming down, we'll let it come down. As soon as it turns back purple, turns up, you know, you buy it. I mean, it's highest volume ever. I mean, SoFi, yeah, looks good. DPSD, so there's the 3X. That's what I'll be entering on the regional banks if the CRE looks good. Meta, I like Meta. I know it's got 2 days of distribution. Relative rotation, we're turning up. We're gaining momentum in price. And so through that high of the day, puts it back above that earnings VWAP on intraday volume. I'm in. Could be the start of the trend. LAC, that's a good looking low volume pullback right there. Low volume pullback. Yeah, looks good. I know the 200 days turned down, but overall it looks good. Look at the accumulation down here. They're buying it. That's a good opportunity tomorrow. Vive, I don't like that distribution, taking it off. SoFi, I like it. I just like SoFi. I'm starting to become a believer in it. DPST, already talked about that. Yeah, 3X Regional Bank, Meta, LAC, Laser. That is a classic low volume pullback. I mean, there it is right there. There's your extreme volume dry up. Here's your mini coil off the breakup, right off the 1020 cloud, like I'm always talking about. That's where I want it, right there. So you got a primary entry through that high of the day. You got a secondary entry through 30. Nice round even number right there. Boy, if we do see a pullback, I'm buying it off the earnings VWAP. SOUN, a little bit of a wild child, but you know what? It's a double inside day. It's right off the 1020 cloud in the coil. I don't like that. Man, I'm going to keep it on there, but I don't like it when that relative rotation histogram starts turning red. IBT, that's wrong, ITB. Let's look at ITB first before nail, because the same thing. Yeah, looks good. Inside bar break through the high of the day on intraday volume. I mean, 5 days turning down a little bit, so we may see more of a pullback into this gap right here. But if it holds this gap, that would be bullish sign. Missed what I missed here. Nail, we don't have to look at that. XLRE, and I'll look up the 2X later. But we played 2 or 3X on XLRE. I need a pullback to play that one. Actually, I'm going to take it off. I was in it down here. We played it up, and if I miss it, you know what? I miss it. But I made good money. It wasn't great money, but I made good money on it and sold out. So that's it for tonight, guys. We got Tigo, FUTU, Trip, Levi, OUST, TME, PRM, NIO, ARKF, TAN, IAT, CRE, Uranium, URA, UEC, UUUU, SoFi, DPST, Meta, LAC, Laser, Sound, and Nail. And remember, as far as the, a couple of those ETFs on here, I'm not actually playing this many plays. I'm using those like TAN. I'm not looking to play TAN. I'm in SHLS. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. WTI, looking good. But, I mean, so there's a healthy number of plays in there, but we'll see how it plays out tomorrow. Let's check futures as we're closing out. Yeah, holding up. All right, thank you for coming out. And if you enjoy the video, like and retweet it, pump it a little bit for me on YouTube. I'd appreciate it. Thank you.